Hello, magic casters of all shapes and sizes. My name is Chance. Welcome to my Spellbook, and thank you so much for tuning into the 62nd episode of our second level spell series. Today we're taking a look at a very interesting and very underused spell for some god-awful reason. Although its name is deceptively kind of underwhelming, I suppose, this spell can literally save you and your entire party in a pinch. So let's take a look at Rope Trick. This spell is usable by the Wizard and the Artificer, and it is found in the good old Player's Handbook, so literally all of us have access to it. Now let's take a quick look at its mechanics here so we can better understand how this works. You create a pocket dimension at the end of a piece of rope. The space can fit up to 8 creatures. That's right, 8 medium or smaller sized creatures. Very cool stuff. The cast time is only an action. The range is touch. The duration is an impressive 1 hour, and it is not concentration. Although the components are the Holy Trinity, so verbal, some material, and somatic. That material component, in case you're curious, is powdered corn extract and a twisted loop of parchment, and the rope itself as well, so bear that in mind. And the school is Transmutation, which makes sense. So let's take a look at the full description here and better understand exactly how this spell works. You touch a length of rope that is up to 60 feet long. One end of the rope then rises into the air until the whole rope hangs perpendicular to the ground. At the upper end of the rope, an invisible entrance opens to an extra-dimensional space that lasts until the spell ends. The extra-dimensional space can be reached by climbing to the top of the rope. The space can hold as many as 8 medium or smaller creatures. The rope can be pulled into the space, making the rope disappear from the outside space. Attacks and spells can't cross through the entrance into or out of the extra-dimensional space, but those inside can see out of it as if through a 3-foot by 5-foot window centered on the rope. Anything inside the extra-dimensional space drops out when the spell ends. Needless to say, this is sweet as hell. It's basically like a slightly different Leomund's tiny hut in the way that it can completely remove you from view, completely makes you immune to damage, and basically saves a ton of people's lives with virtually little effort. The only difference being, or the biggest difference I should say, being the duration. This one only lasts for an hour. Leomund's Tiny Hut lasts for significantly longer. Leomund's Tiny Hut is also a ritual, so that's important too. But in a pinch, this is where you want to be, 100%. So outside of the amazing effect, I do want to point a couple things out. The first being that there's no actual length given to how short the rope can be. It maxes out at 60 feet, but for all intents and purposes, the rope could be like an inch or two long, realistically. Like the spell just says up to 60 feet. So it's worth noting that. It also rises up perpendicular to the ground. So what that means is you can climb on it and not go into the extra dimensional space. For example, if you're trying to reach the 2nd floor of a building and it's a sheer face, this is a great way to get around that. It's an amazing way to get around it. Outside of that, you can also use it as a spying mechanism, but that's kind of delving more into the alternative use side of things. I just want to point out that you can see out, but they can't see in. That is very, very good. In any case, let's actually take a look at some alternative uses before I ramble on too long and end up giving them all away. So I was able to think of a couple that I would really enjoy using it for. So the best one is using it to protect people who are either squishy, on the verge of death, or too important to risk dying. This usually includes kings, nobles, people of interest, people with information, stuff of that nature. As soon as a conflict starts, cast a spell, send them up that rope, and just tell them to hold tight until everything calms down. That's more than fair. Another great use is using this to squeeze in a short rest. takes up an hour, so in the middle of combat, if you're losing, just hop up there, spend an hour, regain your bearing, get a couple of those slots back, and get ready to go back to work. Another great example of using this in a slightly more creative way is if you're ever captured. Use this spell. For the record, this is especially effective if you're locked into a space. So let's say you're in a prison cell, right? Cast this spell, go up top, and just wait for a guard to walk past and notice that you're not in your cell. As soon as you see them unlock that door, jump down and just completely destroy them. In any case, if you can come up with any alternative uses, ideas, thoughts, questions, comments, concerns, please put it down beneath in the comment section. I really do appreciate it. And if you like that cool hand-drawn dragonborn and you'd like your own hand-drawn D&D picture, please check out the guild poll to figure out exactly how to do that. That being said, I hope you have a wonderful day, and as always, happy casting, everyone.